Hey everyone, it's challenge time. So, it's the Blueberry Cove July challenge. So, the challenge today is to make a necklace using some of the wonderful gemstone beads. Okay. So, these are the gemstone beads. These, I'm not sure what they're made of. Really don't. I think these are glass. These definitely feel plastic to me. I don't know. Maybe they're glass. I don't know. But I now have to figure out what I am going to do for my challenge. I really like these two colors together. And I might, so these will be my gemstones that I use, or do I like those together, or those together? I don't know. So I have to decide what I'm going to do, and the first thing that sort of comes to mind is a netting project of some sort. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to use these two colors. But first I need to find out how big these are, what size they are, because there's no indication on them as to the size of the rounds. So let me just check this out with my little calipers. Those look like they are 6 millimeter round. And these probably are too then. So they're probably all 6 millimeters. Yep. Those are all 6 millimeters. So I have some of my own sort of smaller ones as well. Those are 4 millimeter rounds. So we've got some 6s and some 4s here. And one of the things I'm considering doing is a netting project. So I want to do that, but I also want to hang off of the net some of these leaves, because they're pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to gather up a couple of other supplies if I'm going to do a netting project, and I'm thinking of doing something smaller to bigger. Okay, well, I have chosen to use the two colors of the different gemstone beads, and then I also have these smaller guys. I don't even know what these are. There's no label on them either. I think I may want to try and add the maple leaf to them. Very autumnal looking colors here, what they sent on. So I may do that. And then I've also got here a fire agate, which I've been wanting to use, and I think it's going to go quite nicely with this coloring. So I'll make up my mind later on that if I do it. This is what I've chosen here. I kind of think I'm going to end up using that and possibly hang some of those on. I don't know, we'll see. And I'll do a simple netting project. Okay, so some thread. I'm going to use a size 12 needle as well. And then I've got a whole bunch of different colored beads of various sizes. I have some 15s. Hopefully that's in frame. So I've got some 15s. I have 2 different color of 11s that I'll put into my bead tray. And then I've also got a few different sizes of colors of size 8. And I don't know if I'm going to use them or not. I guess I will, I'll see if they're going to be required. And I want some snippers, a thread burner. Hopefully those are in frame. I really like these little spoons. This was given to me by my cousin. But I really like these for just scooping up beads when I'm done with them sort of towards the end of the day. So that's a handy little thing to have. I think that is it. So I'm going to get the thread onto my needle and try to figure out what colors I'm going to use. I'll be back. All right, I've got my thread on my needle. I've got my beads on my bead tray. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to start out with a mixture of size 11 and size 15, and see how that's going to work out for me. So I'll start by picking up one of the 4mm, an 11, a 4, an 11, a 4, and I think I'm just going to make this three beads around. I don't want it to be huge, so that's what I've got on my needle. I want to remind you one more time, this is not a tutorial. If you're a beginner, don't get frustrated, and don't worry about trying to follow me. I'm going to do this as a tutorial another time, but I just have to do my challenge. So I'm going to slide those down almost all the way to the end of my thread. Well, no, maybe I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a tail, probably, I don't know what, maybe I'll do 15 centimeters or so. And I'm going to come back through all of those beads again. And right all the way back to where my tail is, because I'm going to tie a knot here just so I can keep my tension a little bit easier. And back through that 11. And I'm just going to get a knot in there. And I'm going to give myself a little bit more of a tail here, I think. There. So I'm going to move these beads sort of off to the side, because I feel like you're probably not really able to see super well with all those beads underneath my stuff here. And I'm going to do one more knot. And I'm using the Miyuki thread again. I don't know that I would like to use fire line on here, because I kind of feel like it would just not allow me to have the tension that I really want. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the 4mm round stone right next to my knot, and I'm going to pull my knot into there. There we go. All right, and then I want to go through my red bead. So just like that. All right, so now I have to try and figure out how many beads I need to get around this this little 4mm stone. So I'm going to try picking up 3 size 15s, 1 11, and 3 15s. And this is all going to change, so just like that. I'm just going to see if that's going to work for me. It may not. I may have to pull out and put some more on. I think that should probably work. Perfect. So the bead sizes are going to change when I go from these smaller 4mm to these the 6mm. So then all my bead sizes will change as well. So and possibly the color. So 3 15s, an 11, 3 15s. So I'm coming out of that red bead. I'm going to go into the next one, skipping over that 4mm stone, whatever kind it is. sometimes when I do this netting stitch, it all looks like it's going to be great, and it looks like it's going to work really good with the sizing, and then I have to back up again because it's not as great as I thought. So 315, an 11, 3 15s, and now I got to go into this red one, but I also need to go through those 3 green and into that middle red up there, so I can add more of my 4mm on. And if you can't get them all at once, just go through a few at a time and come out that red one. There we go. All right, that should work. So now what I want to do is there's the red beads on the first row in between the 4mm, but there's the red beads on the outside of those 4mm. So there's 1, 2, 3 of them. So I want to pick up my 4mm again, and I'm just going to go through the red ones only. And I'm going to keep repeating this same pattern over and over and over again. It'll make sense soon, I hope. Okay, and I'm going to pick up another 3mm, go through this red, and knock my beads off the table. Okay, so now I have to pick up one more of my 3mm. I've only gone through 2, so now I've got to go through this red one, then I'll go through this red one, then this 4mm, and I'll come out that red one. Let's go through there. Of course, the obligatory tangle has to happen in the thread. That is a must, apparently. All right, so I've got those, but now I have to go through this final red one again. And you know, sometimes it's really worth it just simply reinforcing and passing through all of those ones once again. So I'm going to do that. Some people think that's a little bit of overkill, but I find it keeps my beads a whole lot more stable if I do that. And my work is easier for me to hang on to and handle, and especially this first little part, because there's not a lot to hang on to right now, so I'm just trying to give myself more opportunity to have a more stable piece to work with. And then through those, and then I want to come out the red one again. So there we are. And that's what it should look like at the moment. I'm gonna work on this a little bit more. I'm gonna get a few more centimeters on, I don't know, maybe 5 centimeters or so before I switch over to the other ones here. So I'll be back when I have done that. So I have about 5 centimeters done here, and I've ended off with the netting. And all I need to do to transition is I just simply need to pick up my 3 beads. So I'm going to start with the jade ones, and it should fit quite all right. Shouldn't really be a need to change any of this. Sometimes I find that I can't transition this way, that I have to put on the bigger netting or longer netting, but this should work out okay. So just like I have been doing, now that I put my 3 on there, I'm gonna go around a couple of times, or at least once. And in fact, I'm probably gonna end up going around a few times because I do have to add some more thread. I'm getting a little bit short there. And this one I'm going to tie off in a little bit of a different way. But for now I'm going to sort of just leave it hanging, let it hang out there. And I'll just take the needle off. All right, so this is where we just play around and see what's gonna work. All right, so I'm coming out of that green bead. I need to go into the red seed bead. And I'm gonna try doing the same thing. So I've got my some size 11s here, and I've got some size 8s. So I'm gonna see if this works. Sometimes it's just a matter of playing around and see what will work and what won't work and changing it. So I'm doing the same sequence as what I did before, and I'm going from red bead to red bead on here. And I'm going to be switching up my colors between my stones here, by the way. And I think that's probably, I think that will work. I think. We'll see. So I'm going to be swapping, the next row will be the red jasper. Sorry, I'm probably out of frame here yet again. And yeah, I'm changing my netting color. I'm not too concerned about that. I am wondering if this is actually going to work in terms of the length I need. So once again, I'm coming out of that red. I got to go into this red, back up through the other beads, and I got a tail caught in there. So it's the same thing, no different than what we've been doing already. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. I'm not doing anything different. I'm going to be just swapping the colors. So the next row will be the jade, then the jasper, jade, jasper, and then I don't know, I'll just decide how long I would like that to be, and once I've got that figured out, I will be back. All right, well now I'm getting to the point where I need to transition back to the smaller ones, and I have one more row that I'm going to be putting on. I've decided I'm only going to make this a shorter piece because I'm going to add tubular herringbone onto the ends just to make it go a little bit quicker for myself. And also, I think it looks pretty cool with tubular herringbone. So I will come back and show you that. But I need to transition now from these to the smaller ones here. But also, I need to transition from these beads and the blue beads to the red and the red 11 and the green 15 in that too. So I picked up my 3 bronze, my red, 3 bronze, and these are all size 11s. Back through that blue one there. I really hope I'm in frame here. I'm sorry if I'm not. All right. And then the last one. And up to that red 11. So now I can just add my last row of the green on, the 6mm jade, before I go back down to my 4mm. And these ones I have to reinforce fairly well, so I might go around a little bit more, just because they're kind of big and they're kind of bulky, and I'm working with a different count of beads, sort of. So I just need to make sure that I pull everything really, really nice and tightly. So once again, my 3 green 15s, 1 red. So now everything else is exactly the same as what we have done on this side right here. And I'll finish off the other side over here doing the same thing, and then when I'm done I'm going to show you how we can do the herringbone stitch to finish the necklace off at a length I want. Okay, so I want to be coming out of any one of the red beads on the top, and I'm going to pick up 2 of my bronze 11s, and I'm going to go back in. So my thread's coming out on my right hand side, so I want to go into the left side and pull, and I just want to sit those 2 beads right up on top like that. I'm going to move through the 4mm and in through the next red size 11. I may end up needing some size 8s to do this with at first, but we'll see. All right, so actually, I might even just be happy leaving that as an open space in there. We'll see. I'll take out some of my 8s. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'll just take a few 8s out and see if that will help out a little. Okay, so I've moved my needle back so it's coming out of the top of one of these bronze. I'm going to pick up 2 bronze, and I'm going to come down the next bronze. All right. I think I'll just pick up 1 8 and see if that's going to work. So I'll pick up 1 8 before I go up this next bronze in that pair. I think that'll work fine. 2 more bronze, and I'm going to go down this bronze. Set those up on top. I'll pick up another 8, and I will go up that bronze. Pick up 2 and down. Now this part can sometimes be a little bit tricky. These guys are all leaning over. So I'm going to pick up my 8. So I've got to go up this one that's sitting on top of the red one, and then the one above it is the right one to go up. There we go. So I'm going to pick up 2 beads. Coming out of this side, I'm going to go down this side. So this time now, I'm not adding any beads in between these rows. I don't need to anymore. Now I can just go through and we're good to go. Oops, missed that one. All right, so this is all I'm going to continue to do now, is I am going to just keep building this tubular herringbone until I get to the part where it's time to put on my clasp. Okay, well, I've had another little bit of a mind change here. I'm not really excited about how this part of the necklace chain looks, how it thins out really quickly. I don't really like that. So those are the size 11s and these are the size 8s. So I think it's going to look a little bit better, and because it's kind of the same width as this. And the other bonus is because they're bigger beads, my other part of the necklace finishing it off will be a lot quicker. So the necklace on one side is pretty much completely done. And I've finished doing my herringbone more or less on this side. But now I have to finish this off and put the clasp on. Before I can add my clasp and do the finishing touches here, I have to close off the tops here. And the way I'm going to do that is each one of these column pairs, actually, they're all attached to each other, but with the column next, they're attached a couple beads below. So we just have to attach them at the top. So normally if I was going to continue on, I'd pick up 2 beads and I'd go down through there, but I'm not going to be doing that. So instead of going to my left, I'm going to go to my right. I'm going to come down. So I'm coming out the top of this bead in this column. I'm going to go down the next column 2 beads, and I'm going to pull. I'll go back up the next column I was just coming out of, up 2 beads and pull. And then I can turn. I can go back down this partnering one that I normally would go down with this stitch and just go down to the bottom. I can turn again. Now I've come down 2 beads here. I'm going to go up 2 beads on this one. And I'm going to loop back around one more time to this. And move back over and come up that column. Get my fingers caught in. And turn my work. I'm coming out of this column, back down this one by 2. Turn again, and this is the last piece here. We're back at the beginning almost. So I've come down 2. These 2 are still split apart there. Go back up 2. Down 2. And then back up 2. So now all of those edges along the top, they're all closed in together with each other. So it's going to straighten out my necklace a little bit here. Now what I want to do is continue on pretending as if I'm still doing the herringbone stitch, but I'm going to do it with my turquoise beads. So I'm coming out of this bead. I will pick up 1 turquoise, and just like I was doing the herringbone still, rather than picking up 2, I'm picking up 1, and I'm going to go into down 1 into the next one over. I'm going to turn. I'll go up 1, pick up another turquoise, go to the next row over, go down 1. So it's the same thing. There's just no difference in what we're doing in terms of the herringbone here. And then back up. Pick up 1 more. Go down. Back up the next one. And now, twisted all my necklace up again here. Now I need to go through one of these blue ones and pull. I'm going to pick up my final blue, my final turquoise, and I'm going to pick up 3 size 11s. I'll let all of those drop down, put my needle down for a moment, and now I've got my clasp here on this end. I'm going to take off one side of my clasp. So I'm going to pick up my clasp. I'm going to go through it. I'll pick up 3 more of my size 11s. And now I'm going to go back through. I'm going to skip those size 11s, but I'm going to go back through this bead, this blue bead that we added on. And then my thread is coming out this blue one. I'm going to go over to this blue one right here. So I'm going to make my way around all those blue beads. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through these 3 beads along the base. I'm going to just reinforce a couple of times around there just to make that strong, to neaten it up a little bit. Looks a little bit nicer that way. Okay, and then that'll be good enough there for me. Now I'm going to go back down a few of the beads in the necklace here. So I'm going to catch a thread bridge here where my thread is coming out between those 2 beads. I'm going to pull. I'm going to go through that loop once and one more time and pull, making a half hitch in there. Then I will pull my needle, push my needle through 2 beads and pull the knot down into that bead. And I'm going to do this a few times just so I feel like this is nice and secure. Anyway, that's my challenge done. And I mentioned on a few videos ago that I was hoping to wait for some new wildfire thread to finish off my Métis sash bag, and I'm really hoping I can get that done. So hopefully that will be my next video. If not, I will come up with something else for you to enjoy instead. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please remember, if you like what I do, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. And the more likes and subscriptions I get, the more videos I'll produce with some cool things. So anyway, I hope you have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world and whenever you're watching this video. Take care. Bye-bye.